Stephen Curry has cemented his legacy as the best shooter in NBA history. With 4 championships, 2 MVPs, and a Finals MVP to his name, many consider him to be a top 10 player of all time. Some argue that he is the GOAT point guard as well. However, these are all subjective. While the man himself hasn't been one to chase records, all players care about their statistics. As number 24 on the all-time scoring list, the Golden State Warriors man recently admitted that he has calculated what it might take for him to crack the top 10. "I wouldn't say I don't care. I do the math every once in a while," Curry told Complex in an interview. "Every time you catch somebody and they do the thing in the arenas like, 'Oh, congratulations, you passed Jerry West,' which was a special one for me, that's when you're like, 'Oh, how far can I go?' So, I do the math. If I average 20-something points, 2.5 seasons, I'm playing 70 games, I do that math all the time just to get in your head how long do you have to play, and to what level to catch the top of that list." Curry has 25,386 points at the moment. With James Harden set to break into the top 10 this coming season, Steph has to likely get to Shaquille O'Neal's 28,596 points to make it. And even though he is already 37, it's hard to imagine that Steph won't get the 3,210 points needed to make that happen before he retires. Al Horford was expected to sign with the Warriors at the start of NBA free agency, but that hasn't come together yet. The Celtics' big man remains unsigned heading into the final days of July, though Golden State still appears to be the frontrunner. ESPN's Anthony Slater, on a recent NBA Today appearance, spoke about the Warriors' plans and how they need a big man like Horford on the roster. "All signs point to Al Horford," Slater said. "They're certainly interested in him. I would say if they're not able to get that done." Horford, who you hear is also mulling retirement, if he's on the roster next year, it's a big miss by the Warriors because that's in their plans. They need a stretch 5. Horford, who turned 39 last month, has spent the past 4 years with the Celtics. Throughout last season, it felt like the big man could have returned to Boston for another season, but Jason Tatum's ruptured Achilles tendon changed the equation. Boston president Brad Stevens said it was unlikely Horford would end up back on the roster as the Celtics have seemingly moved on with their offseason. Even though Horford will be one of the oldest players in the NBA next season, if he does sign with a team, he showed he can still be a contributor. The Celtics leaned on him during the playoffs heavily as Kristaps Porzingis battled his illness at the time. While Horford can't contribute like he did when he was in his prime, he proved that he can still be a useful bench piece at this point in his career. It's unclear when Horford could end up signing with the Warriors or another team. Perhaps he could also end up retiring, which is reportedly on the table. Golden State has its own uncertainty with restricted free agent Jonathan Kuminga, who's looking for a payday amid limited options. The Golden State Warriors and Sacramento Kings are inextricably linked at this point of the offseason, with the potential of a Jonathan Kuminga sign-and-trade still in play a month since free agency began. But while the Kings continue to eye a possible move for Kuminga, they also reportedly have their sights set on a former MVP who could soon be headed to the franchise as an unrestricted free agent. Former MVP Russell Westbrook may be headed to Sacramento. The point guard position had been a major void to fill for Sacramento heading into the offseason, having moved to address that by signing former Warrior Dennis Schroeder to a 3-year, $44.4 million contract. However, the Kings don't appear to be stopping there in terms of veteran point guards, with the arrival of Russell Westbrook also imminent if we're to believe the latest from Carmichael Dave of Sackdown Sports Radio on Sunday. And they should be. It's not done, but it's been cooking for a while. And there is strong interest from both sides. If handing out a $40+ million contract to Schroeder wasn't comical enough for Warrior fans, the Kings deciding to double down with another veteran guard with a propensity to be shot-happy should only add to the laughter. Westbrook remains a player that can still put up good raw box score numbers, having averaged 13.3 points, 4.9 rebounds, and 6.1 assists with the Denver Nuggets last season. He can provide energy off the bench and will gladly step into a bigger role when called upon, as he did in a game against Golden State in March when he had 12 points, 12 rebounds, and 16 assists without the star duo of Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. The issue still remains Westbrook's impact on winning at key times, and the game of roulette that teams often play with a 36-year-old equally capable of mercurial game-winning plays and head-scratching moments of disaster. It's why the Nuggets seemingly have no interest in bringing him back, and why the Clippers and Lakers held the same mindset previously in recent seasons. What will make the Kings any different? If anything, it will be worse with ball-dominant players like Schroeder, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, and potentially Kuminga, while Domantas Sabonis is hardly spacing the floor, allowing for Westbrook to drive to an open paint. For a team who should be prioritizing their young players in Keegan Murray, Keon Ellis, Kuminga, if they get him, and impressive recent draft picks Nick Clifford and Maxime Reynaud, adding Westbrook makes very little sense. This might be just the latest in a long list of questionable decisions from the Kings, but provides another source of comedy for Warrior fans while we continue to await a Kuminga resolution. Rumors continue to swirl this NBA offseason, this time involving LeBron James and the Golden State Warriors. James is nearing the end of his legendary career, even though he is yet to confirm if next season will be his last. He is under contract with the Los Angeles Lakers for $52.6 million, but it doesn't stop the rumor mill about him possibly teaming up with Stephen Curry and the Warriors. NBA insider Mark Stein went over the Warriors' history of having interest in James, pointing back to February 2024. While it may not be substantial, it is possible that they can be in the mix of the star forward wishes to compete outside of Los Angeles. I believe that the Warriors, who have shown an interest in acquiring James dating to the February 2024 trade deadline some 18 months ago, will remain in the mix if James ever does reach the point that he's looking for a last hurrah elsewhere, Stein said. What lies ahead for Warriors amid LeBron James rumors? Mark Stein has a lot of expertise with his connections in the NBA world. It is substantial for LeBron James and the Warriors to continue being on the radar in the offseason and next season as rumors. In the meantime, the Warriors progress through the summer with questions to answer. They still have yet to resolve their situation with Jonathan Kuminga, who seems to not be in a rush to get a deal done. His desire to have the best role along with a high salary are reasonable, though it doesn't put Golden State in a good spot salary cap-wise. The Warriors are also chasing key targets to bolster their depth, namely Al Horford. They lost Kevin Looney to the New Orleans Pelicans, making the center position a major need for the squad. If Golden State wants to succeed, they must navigate their offseason in the best manner possible.